they're stepping into, I don't want to be angry and frustrated about everyone anymore. I want to get past this stuff. I want to associate with people that are positive. Almost, they leave the negative people behind, they make new friends. Their life becomes free. There were people in my life that I had to eliminate that were dear, dear brothers of mine. Matt knows that. We had to walk away from certain friendships that were like as true as we thought were brothers, but the toxic conversation and the envy and those other things that we just kept saying, well, that's just our friend, that's just our friend. No, there's sometimes they're no longer your friend, they're actually your enemy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The one thing I learned about jealousy and envy is that jealousy says, I want what you have. And envy says, I want what you have and I don't want you to have it. And that was a huge learning experience for me, and I had to eliminate people in my life. But if I wasn't determined to strengthen social skills and determine who is with me, who's not, I wouldn't have been able to be free. But now I don't have any of that drama anymore. In fact, that person was in one of our organizations, and we ran together for years. We didn't invite him here, and we have a beautiful culture as a result of that. So I don't want to go on and take a bunny trail, but all of these things that we're talking about, different areas of our business, increases our earning power.
Yes.
Because if you get caught up in the minutia of putting out fires all day long, how are you ever going to be able to be in a positive frame of mind building your business? That's money.
You know, Rick, two things, maybe three. And I'm gonna say them, and then Rick's gonna clean it up, make it sound right. So be ready. Just talking about capacity. You know what happens in any area of life, whether it's relationships. So I think everything goes back to relationships. See, if you have the right relationship with money, money will never own you.
That's right.
That's another way to develop wealth. If you have the right relationship and right understanding, then money will never own you. You own it. Big difference, a whole nother level of thinking. Capacity. You know, if you out earn your capacity, it's gonna fall 100% of the time in any area of life.
Yeah.
It's a house of cards. Now,
That's why you want a 20-degree.
a 20-degree angle in life instead of a 45, 50, or 100. What we learned in our life, how did we develop capacity? How did we develop around that? We spent more time, we spent more time with people that were here instead of people that were here and here. It's 3 levels of relationships. 3 levels. You know where we spend our time with? Here and here. Makes us feel best about us. These never do. These are ones always kicking your butt. Them are the hard ones. You know what, in 33 years, my mentors never told me he's proud of me in 33 years. Maybe once. That wasn't his job. He was a teacher, I was a student. So I always put myself around people. I was never the smartest person in the room if you are change rooms. If you're sitting there, I don't know if I can get anything from Rick and Frank and these other guys. Hey, get up and leave. Get in the wrong room. Because you won't get anything. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Why? You can't buy another second in the bank. I don't care how much money you develop. So how are you going to develop the capacity? Get around people that have greater vision, greater passion, greater purpose, that have more capacity. That's the only way you're going to develop it. And then you know what? All through trial and error and experiences. There's nothing like falling flat on your face. You know what? The greatest lessons, I'll say, my wife can tell you how she feels. The greatest lessons that we have learned, and I've learned personally, I've learned the most by failing than winning. I've learned the most by failing than winning. Yeah, we've won a lot in life, in a lot of areas. That tells you we failed a lot more than we won.
That's right.
We failed a lot more than we won. Capacity. And you're right, Rick, all them areas are not just to increase your income. Because as your capacity grows, your income grows. So if your income's not increasing, it's because your capacity isn't increasing. Next thing is, I'll share with you, is that, you know, we get to a point where we feel like, wow. And especially here in this industry. I mean, it's working for Tanya. It's working for this one. It's working for this one. I've been here longer than them. I know I've talked to more people than them. And you know what we do? This is another kiss of death and winning in life. Anytime you start comparing yourself to another individual, you don't understand the pain that they've walked in and walked through for their experience to come from that point of power. Not everything is as it appears.
That's right.
Did you hear what I said? Not everything is as it appears. The shiniest, listen, I'll just tell you the truth, the shiniest object and the shiniest person, I run like hell to get away from them. I'm not looking for polished, I'm looking for power. I'm not looking for polished, I'm looking for power. This never determines it. This determines it.
Can I add something?
No,
No, leave it right there.
This is how we do.
How's your leadership? No, I want to say it like this. You know how I said my value is found in my team? Every one of us can ask that same question. Is my value found in my team? And if it's not, what are you planning to do to fix that?
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah. Because we all have little businesses, larger businesses, larger businesses, larger businesses, right? But we can't just rest and go, okay, so-and-so's value is in their team. No, you gotta immediately, okay, wait a second. How is my value in my team? Now you have a roadmap. Because your team your value should be found in your team. And we make the mistake in our industry that we show our checks before we show the value in our team. So then what happens, our team begins to look at us and they go, see, you're making all the money and we're not. And then that causes jealousy and envy. So instead of them going, I want to do that too, I want to have that same effect. When I have that same effect, then I'll have that income. If you're not careful and you're just showing the check before your team has capacity, then your team thinks that you're ripping them off.
That's exactly right.
Use it.
You know what? Exactly, babe. They feel like you're using them or you're taking advantage of them. I've seen this, I can't even tell you how many times we've seen that. It's actually a jealousy problem, and it's a lack of understanding. That's what it is. Because they think it's you're bragging on you. And you know what? In all of our decades, I never showed anybody one check we were making. And we made 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000, 80,000 a week. Just in this one business. I've never enticed anybody to get in business with me. I've never looked for a networker in 33 years. In the last company, we did 2.1 billion on our team. 2.1 billion we did on our team. Very few people can ever say that. We had 15,000 a week getting in on our team every single week for years. Never showed one person our checks. Never told one person exactly how much money we weighed. You know why? It ain't none of their business.
Can't spend it.
And you know what my mentor told me? Don't matter how much I make, you can't spend any of my money. Solved it for me one time. I said, hell, I want to try. He said, you can. I won't allow you.
Write that down as an
True
objection.
story.
Yeah.
That's the true story. Say something, Kim.
Okay, so we talk a lot about having, thank you, your contributions are amazing. I've been holding a lot of this in. We talk a lot about the unfair.
The blonde
What?
bomber.
No, it's my turn.
Tell them who you are. The bomber.
You can tell them. We talk a lot about having the unfair advantage. You've heard that in business school?
Yeah.
Here's another unfair advantage. You get to learn from all of their mistakes, which shaves off time of your journey to get you where you want to be. When I partnered with him, one of the things I kind of came at him with was, you have to teach me everything that you know, like even the bad stuff. I want to know all those things because I want my growth trajectory to be faster in a shorter timeline than what it would be if I fell into those pitfalls myself. That's an unfair advantage for you. So do you think you can learn something from somebody that's done, what'd you say, 2.1 billion? Do you think they've made some mistakes in business? So do you think that if they tell you to get to events, there's a reason why they're telling you that?
Amen.
So Frank talks a lot about principles govern success. You guys have heard that. There's a lot of narratives that were thrown out, and I want to connect some dots for you all. So principles govern success. So the 10, 10, 10, 30, 40. I paid off my mortgage after 2.5 years. That wasn't because of the paycheck. It was because of the principles
That's
of
exactly.
knowing how to manage the money and invest it properly.
Say it again.
I don't know if I can say that the same thing, but paying off a mortgage in 2.5 years was not because of the money that I made from Viseo. It was because of the principles of wealth and learning where I should put that money to create that story. Because now I have a completely new revenue stream and a rental property. And if I didn't learn those principles, I'd probably be driving a really nice Porsche right now, investing in a depreciating asset, and getting myself into even more debt. And that's not really why we all want to be. We want to be debt free.
It's
Well,
not right there.
good debt, bad debt.
Stop right there, Kim. Hold the
Okay.
mic, hold the mic. But you didn't just pay off your mortgage. First, she got out of all of the bad debt. What is bad debt? Credit card debt.
Unsecured debt.
First, she paid off $50,000 in bad debt. Why? Because she's paying probably 17% or higher in all of that bad debt, right? So you get that paid off first. Then she went after her mortgage. That's what financial education does, so you know
Yes.
what to do with the money when it comes in.
One thing that this industry has had a bad example of doing is what I call keeping up with the Joneses. It's a good old Southern term, you guys heard it? It's not important to always have the new thing and have the fastest car and the biggest house. Financial freedom is so much. I mean, if you get to a point where money doesn't matter and everything, your home is paid for and you own your life, then yeah, those things are wonderful. But until you own your life and you're not paying interest, those things are not necessary. They're not necessary, and that's what I appreciate about this particular team of people, is that we're not out, because I've seen the ugly of, oh, you know, if you're a leader, you gotta buy this, or you gotta look this certain way, or you gotta, drive this certain vehicle or whatever. That is hogwash. Do not buy that lie. That is a lie.
I still have my 2014 Mustang, and I love it. Let Daniel buy you the car, because he'll buy you one at Black Diamond. The next point I want to make, you guys, a lot of you saw the Facebook Live I did on I Cheated.
Yep.
And there were some boxes that I skipped. You heard Rick say yesterday on stage, if you can't be trusted with the little things, how are you going to be trusted with the big things?
That's good. Yeah.
And if you're not willing to commit to setting aside 3 hours a week, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for school, 4 days a week, Monday, you're welcome. Love Matt and Jason. If you can't register for the events and be consistent with that and plan ahead and maybe forego the things that you really don't need, that you buy because it's impulsive. And events are non-negotiable.
That's right.
Yes.
And that's a small thing. If you can't commit to the small things, you're not ready for diamond.
That's good. Amen.
Who wants to be diamond? How many of you are willing to go to events for the next 5 years consistently, unless you're pregnant, going into labor, you're in a coma, or somebody's getting married?
There you go.
That's my excuse. I missed one of them.
How much money you make going to a
You can
wedding?
still go when you're pregnant.
Frank,
How much money?
he has a good point. It was my sister. He has a good point. It was my sister. It was not negotiable.
I missed one in 33 years. You know what my mentor told me? Until you make my money, never miss one. So I've missed one, and you know how many hundreds of events? I missed one event in 33 years. My mentor told me and my wife, until you make the money I make, never miss an event. I can stand here before you. Come here, Red, baby. The beauty of my life. I can stand here and tell you, we have made the money in this industry because we've never missed an event. I've missed one in 33 years. And hear you, I don't think I've ever said it publicly. My brother's daughter was murdered next to my job site. And they found her the day I was leaving. And my mentor, ICE was still going. And my mentor says, you stay now. You stay. True story. It's the only event I missed in 33 years. She's had 5 babies. Not she. We've had 5 babies. Because if you're married, you go through it too. If you don't think that, you ain't participating. You may be a provider, but listen, I've delivered 5 babies. Because you know what? If you ain't watch this, you're just a provider, not a participator. If you ain't delivered them with them, that's what I'm talking about right there. Do what?
I said, we're gonna get the family counseling.
We'll do that too. But the truth of the matter is, you know what? This is life. Everything will get in your way. Everything will. The cat'll get diarrhea. Somebody will lose their job. The car will break down. The raise you were counting on, the income tax check you was going to be here didn't come in. How many know it's the truth? I've never not seen it. And here's another thing I've never not seen. Rick, you can expound on this just in your short period of time. You tell me. I've never not seen it when a person says, that's it, I'm going to do it. I've never not seen all hell break loose in their life. I've never not seen it. 100% of the time. When somebody comes to an event like this, and you heard them say this weekend, the next 48 hours are most important. They are when you leave here. Don't expect to just leave here and it just be, oh, hunky-dory. If you made a decision this week to do something different and be different, something's going to come against you. Expect it. Never not seen it any different. So when it does, don't say, oh man, this must not be for me. No, it's to stop you.
Just stop right there.
I'm gonna give it back to you. Hold on to that thought.
No. I'll lose
So
my
when you're
mind.
like that, you're letting the wind continue to change you. And until you come to a place where you go, you know what, I'm changing the wind, it will not work for you. I stopped looking for all the ways I could be the victim. If this happens, I can't go. If this happens, I can't go. You're like, there's 3,500 reasons why I can't go to that event. I'm paying it, your antenna is up because you're looking for all these reasons why you can't go instead of going, nothing is going to stop me from going. The wind's not gonna blow me around. I'm gonna blow the wind. I'm gonna change the wind. I'm gonna change the tide. I dictate the atmosphere. The atmosphere doesn't dictate to me.
That's right.
Do you understand that? No, you guys, I want you to understand. Do you understand? Like, you need to get this in your marrow.
Yeah.
Because we're all trying to figure out what makes people so wealthy or so lucky or why their lives are blessed. You know why? I just said it in a different reason, but I promise you that's exactly what they do. They change the wind. They manipulate the wind.
Yes.
The wealthiest people in the world, the most successful people in the world, they don't let the winds change them or define them. They change the wind.
Amen.
They are determined and their eyes are set like flint to bring change in their life, bring change in other people's lives. They're not looking for reasons to go, not to go.
That's right.
There's not going to be a reason. Of course, like I said before, if Dallin ever had to ask me if I was showing up to an event, I'd be offended. Do you not know me?
True.
Every one of us have to be that way. Why would you ask me that question? I can't even qualify that. Right?
What would you think if Rick didn't show up to an event? What would go through your mind? Shout it out. What would go through your mind?
What's wrong with
What
you?
happened? He died? I want to attach some mechanics to some of the things that were said. So to finish up my last point, you're cheating the system if you skip events. You can't cheat. The process doesn't let you cheat. Now, here's what you're going to say to your team. I can't go because my cat's throwing up. First of all, people may not always like to hear the truth, but they will respect you when you share that with them. What's your name? Peg? Kay. Kay. Man, I'm so sorry to hear that your cat's throwing up, but look, you trust me, right? That's why you joined me in business? Okay. So, at the end of the day, if you don't follow the system and you cheat it, you're not gonna hit gold. How does that make you feel?
That sucks.
So, is that enough to make the decision to come and make it happen?
Yes, I'm already signed up for Orlando.
Wonderful. Good job. So,
Sign up for Dallas.
yes, sign up for Dallas, overcooknation.com.
I learned about Dallas like 5 minutes ago, so I'm working on it.
So, be honest with your team. I tell people this now. You're cheating the system. Remember that thing I shared with you before? Remember how I cheated and had to go back and had to go and check those boxes? You're not gonna get where you wanna be. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with getting that result if you're not gonna get where you wanna be? And you put the power in their hand to say, no, that's not what I want. Now, a lot of you will wake up all the time, every day, saying, I don't feel like doing it today. What did Frank say today at church for those of you that were here? Your feelings will always steer you wrong.
Yeah.
You're never going to feel like doing anything at all because motivation is BS at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because it's a decision that you make. Your brain, I'm really, really into the brain chemistry right now. Your brain is chemically wired to keep you alive and keep you away from things that don't feel safe or routine. So the moment that you have to try something new, a Facebook Live, showing up at an event that you don't know anybody, rooming with somebody that you've never met before, stuff like that, at events, your brain's gonna be like, wait, don't do that. Melissa didn't have to think twice about putting on her torn up jeans this morning. Right? Ted didn't think twice about putting on his black shirt or packing his glasses. It's routine. Your brain will say, wait, Melissa, what are you doing? Why are you registering for that event? You didn't hesitate when you put on the torn up jeans. Why are we hesitating right now? Abort, back away. Here's how you take control of that. This is something I learned from Mel Robbins. It's called the 5-second rule. Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. It literally releases, what this does is this is where the hesitation happens in the brain. It resets your brain to the frontal cortex and it says, okay, I can go do something new now. You have 5 seconds, literally. This has actually saved lives. It's prevented people from jumping off boats. It's caused people to not hit the snooze button and get up out of bed. How many of you all do that?
Yep.
Yeah. When the alarm button goes off, first of all, set it on the other side of the room. Don't sleep with your cell phone. Put that in your bathroom. Make that alarm go off really loud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. I don't really want to call that person. That feels a little bit scary. That 7-figure earner that does all those videos in his Mercedes, I kind of want to call him, but he knows a lot more than I do. So maybe I won't, because I don't know what I'm going to say to him to convince him to join Rodin and Fields. Like, how am I going to get his attention? I did that for a year. And then when I finally dropped my lady balls to do it, he recruited me to Viseo. I said lady balls. You have to make the decision every single day to commit to building your business, personal development, expanding your capacity.
Yeah.
Every single day. And what does Rick say? Everybody wants to be a diamond until you have to do what diamonds do. Do you want to know what diamonds do every single day? They get up at 5:30 in the morning before their kids do, and they do spreadsheets, and they do personal development, and they listen to podcasts, and they fit in a workout, and it is like her saving grace. I still haven't been able to do this yet. It's something I have to work on. Melissa inspires me. I'm like, man, she's like stronger, way stronger in that area than I am. Her muscles are stronger too. So does that make sense? So when your team, when you have people in your organization that are like, I don't know if I'm gonna go, be like, wait a second, you told me you wanted to be diamond. You told me you wanted to go to the Bahamas. Were you lying to me? I will say things like that. Were you being dishonest? Because I believed you, and I believe in you. You have everything that you need to be successful in this business. Why aren't you executing right now? You're literally getting in your own way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, girl, go.
One thing I want to do though is that, like, I look around here and you guys all showed up to this, right? And I want to give a round of applause to everyone who came to this.
Good job.
Because honestly, that's big. And especially, you know, I know that we, when you compare our events that we do with the events here, it's different, right? It's not, right? I mean, I'll never speak negatively. That, you know, this was an awesome weekend, but what we do is different. And so it's a big deal that you guys came. But I know that there's other ways that we cheat the system, right? I know I've done it. We all show up to events, but there might be people in here who don't do Facebook Lives because they think, well, you know, like I just can't do a Facebook Live. I'm too scared. I don't speak like Rick or Kim or Melissa, and so I'm not going to do the Facebook Live, or I'm not going to do an interview, or I'm not going to reach out. I had someone tell, I'm not going to say who, but someone said, I don't reach out to people. I've never reached out to people. She got to gold, not reaching out to people, but you know, I mean, that's because she has a gift of attracting people to her, right? And so you get comfortable in your gift of attracting people to you, and you don't push yourself to go outside of that gift. Yeah. And that's really what you have to do. You have to be a little uncomfortable sometimes. So I applaud you guys for showing up, but I think there's a lot of other ways that maybe you don't push yourself. Because I know I've been there, and there are ways that I haven't, and I think you have to think, what is it that I'm not doing? What part of the system am I cheating?
Good job. All right, so what we want to do is, why don't we open it up for some questions? I tried to get a whiteboard here. Have you ever been to a hotel that doesn't have a whiteboard? They said, we don't bring whiteboard. We don't have a whiteboard. Okay.
Rick, can I say something really
Go ahead.
quick before, I want to say something really quick before we, and I do want to hear questions, because I think that's vital. How many people in here are business owners? Business owners.
Traditional or?
Business owners.
She said this. Just answer the question.
Every single one of you is a business owner. Every single one of you have a multi-million-dollar business. And that's the way you have to see yourself. And that's the way you have to see this business. Do not let the small cost of getting in business of $1,500 trip you up. This is a incredible. Frank and I make more money. Well, we will. We don't right now. Economy's really good. But this business that we're in right now will blow past what we do outside of networking. Our networking business will triple our traditional businesses. And that's why we do it. It's cash cow. It gives you every advantage of being a business owner. And the other thing I wanted to say was, don't allow people to get in this business on minimums.
Yes. Amen.
If you allow people to come in on minimums, they'll see this business as a minimum their entire career. If you go ahead and let them know, in the first year, you're going to invest in going to these 3 events. You're going to invest in the $1,500 kit. It's going to take you about $160, I say $240, to stay involved on a monthly basis. If you're not using your own products, you can't.
All your products.
All your own products. You can't tell anybody else to use the products. If I'm not using Renew, how am I going to help somebody use Renew if I'm not using Renew? And they ask me, well, tell me about that Renew. Well, I don't know. I don't really take it, but you know, you need to use it. So don't allow the minimums to keep you from seeing this business as a huge, huge business opportunity.
If you were to go to Home Depot and you walk through the fixtures section and somebody says, hey, can I help you in any way? Yeah, I'm looking for this type of faucet. And they go, well, why don't you go pick out that one over there? But you want to sit and understand, why should I pick that faucet that's $100 more versus the one over here? And they say, I don't know. Do you think that that salesperson is competent?
No.
That's how you look when you're not taking your own product and you can't speak to it. And if you're a serious business owner and you're representing a business school, and we say that we're professionals here because we are, you want to posture like that. And that's another one of those very simple, small things in business, is just taking the product.
One last thing on business. You know, me and Rick, we talked about this the other day on the phone, is, you know, this, I'm gonna talk about two systems. I'm gonna talk about the system that the government set up. We didn't set that system up. They sat it up. Or set it up, how do you say it? And so if you understand how the system works, not the one that we set up, the one they set up. If you understand how that system works, listen, that system will pay you, listen to me, that system will pay you to develop the right thinking, the right mindset. They'll pay you to develop the education to develop your wealth. Listen to me. The best tax attorneys, the best accountants, we've got them. The system. So if you really understand what I'm saying, you never spend a dime. You never spend, and I never talk in terms of spent, because spent's like flushing it down the toilet. There's no return on nothing you spend. There's only a return on an investment, period. There's two assets. One you buy and one you build. Most people don't have the financial strength to buy one, so we teach people how to build one and tell you the financial strength to do both. That right there is worth writing it down. So the system out there will pay you to develop your knowledge, develop your experience, develop your mind, develop your education to build your wealth.
Can I add to that?
I want
It ends up paying.
It ends up paying for your entire lifestyle.
Absolutely.
The system that we teach pays for your house, it pays for your cars, it pays for everything. The system, the better